Good morning, everyone. This is T. Shivapriya, Assistant Professor, Department of Physics, St.Josephs College of Arts and Science for Women, Hosur. Today we are going to discuss about the liquefaction of air by Linde's process. Liquefaction of gases is nothing but normally a gas goes into the solid and liquid forms as the temperature is reduced. Here, the liquefaction is a transformation of a gaseous substance into liquid state. Faraday successfully liquefied chlorine, carbon dioxide, hydrogen, sulfide, etc. only by cooling and applying pressure. Critical temperatures of carbon dioxide, ammonia and sulfur dioxide are higher than the room temperature. Hence, these gases can be liquefied at room temperature without pre-cooling simply by increasing the pressure. So, the simple process would be cool to the gas below its critical temperature by some coolant and then to liquefy it by applying a pressure on it. This method does not work always. In the case of some gases like oxygen, nitrogen, hydrogen and helium, no pre-cooling can bring the temperature below the critical temperature. Thus, they cannot be liquefied by this method. So, we need some of the method we need, that is the regenerative cooling. Here, Joule-Thomson expansion is very important technique to liquefy the gases. The cooling produced in Joule-Thomson expansion of the gas depends on the difference of pressure on the two sides of the porous plug and the initial temperature. For most of the gases, the Joule-Thomson cooling is very small. However, the cooling effect can be intensified by employing the process called the regenerative cooling. The regenerative cooling process was first used by Linde to liquefy the air. Before study the liquefaction of air by Linde's process, we want to know about the regenerative cooling. This process consists in cooling the incoming gas by a portion of the gas which has already been cooled by Joule-Thomson expansion. The schematic arrangement of regenerative principle is shown in the figure. The gas is compressed to a high pressure by the compressor. The heat of compression is removed by the passing the gas in a water cooled jacket, that is heat exchanger number 1. Then the gas undergoes Joule-Thomson expansion at needle wall T so that it cools by a small amount. Then the cooled gas is allowed to go back to the pump P. While going up, it cools the incoming gas in the heat exchanger number 2. This gas gets further cooled after the undergoing Joule-Thomson expansion at T. This is the regenerative process till the gas gets liquefied. Here we discuss about the liquefaction of air by Linde's process. Linde in 1885 used Joule-Thomson effect and the principle of regenerative cooling in the liquefaction of air. By maintaining a continuous cycle of operation, the initial temperature can be progressively lowered and hence the cooling effect is enormously enhanced. Liquefaction of air by Linde's process apparatus is shown in the figure. The apparatus consists of the pump P1 and P2, then the freezing mixture. The apparatus consists of the three nozzles V1, V2, V3 and the gas is compressed in the freezing mixture. Then finally the liquefaction of air is collected in the Dewar flask. The apparatus consists of the pump P1 and P2. The air is compressed to a pressure of about 25 atmospheres by the pump P1. Then it is cooled by passing it through the cold water bath. The compressed air is passed through the KOH solution to remove the carbon dioxide and water vapor. The air then enters into the second pump P2. Then it is maintained by the pressure of about 200 atmosphere. The compressed air next passes through a cooling spiral immersed in a freezing mixer, where its temperature falls to about minus 20 degrees Celsius. This cooled air at high pressure passes down through the tube A and is allowed to come out of the nozzle B1. The temperature falls to about minus 70 degrees Celsius. This cooled air flows upward through the tube B, cools the incoming air through A and returns to P2. The pump P2 again compresses the air to 200 atmosphere and puts into the circulation once more. It passes through the nozzle V1 and it's further cooled. During expansion, the pressure is suddenly lowered to 20 atmosphere. This causes the temperature to fall further to minus 70 degrees Celsius. The cooled air is then made to flow through the outer tube, cooling the air flowing through the inner pipe, and finally returned back to the compressor P2, where it is again compressed to a pressure of 200 atmosphere. It is again circulated through the inner pipe. After a completion of a few cycles, the temperature of incoming gas falls sufficiently low and the second throttle valve B2 is open. At this stage, the cooled air is allowed to expand to a pressure of 1 atmosphere when it liquefied. The liquid air is collected in the Dewar flask D. The unliquefied air is led back through the tube C to the pump P1 and the process is repeated. The entire arrangement is packed in cotton wool to avoid any conduction or radiation. Thank you.